Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an ancient story about a choice that just echoes through time. It's all about legacy, freedom, and what it really means to commit to something much, much bigger than ourselves. So, the whole story really begins at a crossroads. One of those moments where a single decision is going to shape the future, not just for one person, but for everyone who comes after them. The stakes? Well, they couldn't be higher. Now, to really get the weight of this choice, we have to look back a little. You see, this decision isn't being made in a vacuum. Nope. It's standing on this incredible foundation of divine action and a really long history of promises that were never, ever broken. And what's so fascinating is how the story of their history is told. The leader, Joshua, he recounts all these events, but he does it from God's perspective, using these powerful I statements. It's I called, I delivered, I guided, and I gave. It just completely reframed history, right? It shows it wasn't just a series of random accidents. It was a story with God as the main actor, always showing up for his people. And that all leads us to this one pivotal moment. Joshua, he's old now, at the end of his life, and he gathers the entire nation at a place that is just heavy with meaning, Shechem. This was no random spot on a map. It was a place where big promises had been made before, and now it was a place where their entire future would be decided. And here it is, the challenge. Joshua lays down this incredibly stark choice. But notice how he does it. He doesn't just bark an order as their leader. No, he starts by making a deeply personal declaration. As for me and my house. It's this profound statement of his own conviction, and it basically invites everyone else to respond. This whole idea of choosing one path over another, it wasn't exactly a new concept at Shechem. The very ground they were standing on held this memory of a similar commitment, a time when old ways of life had to be, well, literally buried. So get this. Centuries before, the patriarch Jacob brought his family to this exact same spot. And right here, he had them take all their foreign idols and bury them under an oak tree. It was a physical, tangible act of saying, we're done with the past and we're embracing a new identity. And that's the whole point, right? This call to choose isn't just some mental exercise. It demands real, concrete action. Joshua's challenge, that as for me, it really shines a spotlight on the power of an individual's choice. But in the world this story comes from, no choice was ever really made in a bubble. One person's decision was always going to become the story of the whole community. And this brings us to this really key idea called corporate solidarity. Basically, it's the understanding that the individual and the community are just completely woven together. So one person's choice, their success or their failure, it had the power to shape the destiny of everyone. And right here is the central tension of the whole story. It holds two big truths at the same time. On one hand, you have individual freedom. Every person is accountable for their own decision. But on the other hand, you have this community solidarity, where the choices of one person bring immediate shared consequences for everybody else. Okay, so after the people hear Joshua's challenge and they make their commitment, he does something really fascinating. He doesn't just, take their word for it and call it a day. He creates a permanent, physical reminder of their decision, just to make sure this moment is never, ever forgotten. He actually sets up a huge stone right there under that same oak tree. And he says this stone, it's heard all the promises that were made that day. How cool is that? It becomes this silent, unchanging witness to their covenant. It's like a physical anchor for their collective memory, a tangible way to guard against forgetting what they promised. And then the story wraps up, but not with some big flashy battle. It ends with something way more profound. 3 burials. Joshua, the leader, Eleazar, the priest, and finally, the bones of Joseph, which had been carried for generations, are all laid to rest in the Promised Land. It's this quiet fulfillment of a promise made long ago, and it marks the end of one era and the real beginning of the next. This quiet ending, it's not about loss at all. It's about legacy. It's this powerful statement that the covenant, the promise, continues way beyond any single leader. Joshua's choice, that very personal as for me, it created a we that would outlive him. And the story leaves us with the incredible power of that one declaration and a question that echoes from their stone all the way to our time. What are the choices we're making today that will define the community we leave behind tomorrow?